Welcome back. Well, I'm on Leviticus chapter 8, and this is actually continuing off, I think only 2 minutes after I just finished the other video. So let's just continue on. This is going to go up on a Tuesday, so I'm just keeping track on it on the desktop right now on the videos that I'm uploading. And sometimes I'll say it in it at the beginning, so at least I know at least I know which days are going on which days. I'm putting the date stamps too, basically down here. I'm putting the date stamps for each one of these. So right now we're on Leviticus 8 for Tuesday, chapter 8. So let's just continue. Like, share, and subscribe like always. And let's just continue with Leviticus chapter 8. And then the Lord said to Moses, bring Aaron and his sons along with the sacred garments and anointing oil, the bowl for the sin offering, and the two rams, and the basket of bread made without yeast, and call the entire community of Israel together at the entrance of the terebinths. So Moses followed the Lord's instructions, and the whole community assembled at the terebinths entrance. Man, I'm still burping, even though I just finished eating like a few hours ago. Moses announced to them, "This is what the Lord had commanded us to do." Then he presented Aaron and his sons and washed them with water. He put the official tunic of on Aaron and tied the sash around his waist. He dressed him in a robe and placed the ephod on him and attached the ephod securely with the decorative sash. Then Moses placed the chest piece on Aaron and put the Urim on the Thummim inside of it. I wonder what those are. He placed the turban on Aaron's head and attached the gold medallion, the badge of holiness, to the front of the turban, just as the Lord had commanded him. Then Moses took the anointing oil and anointed the tabernacle and everything in it, making them holy. He sprinkled the oil on the altar 7 times, anointing it and all its utensils, as well as the wash basin and its stand, making them by holy. He poured some of the anointing oil on Aaron's head, anointing him and making him holy for his work. Next, Moses presented Aaron's sons. He clothed them with their tunics and tied their sash around them. He put their special head covering on them, just as the Lord had commanded him. Then Moses presented a bull for the sin offering. Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the bull's head, and Moses slaughtered it. Moses took some of its blood and with his finger, and he put it on the four horns of the altar to purify it. He poured the rest of the blood on the base of the altar. Through through this process, he made the altar holy by purifying it. Then Moses took all the fat around the internal organs and the long lobe of the liver and the two kidneys and fat around them. He burnt it all on the altar. He took the rest of the bull, including the hide, meat, and dung, and burned it all in the fire outside of the camp, just as the Lord had commanded him. Then Moses presented the ram for the burnt offering. Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the ram's head, and Moses slaughtered it. Then Moses took the ram's blood and splattered it against the sides of the altar. Then he cut the ram into pieces and had burnt the head, some of its pieces, and the fat on the altar. After washing the internal organs and the legs with water, Moses burnt the entire ram on the altar as a burnt offering. It was a pleasing aroma and a special present to the Lord, just as the Lord had commanded him. Then Moses presented the other ram, which was the ram of ordination. Aaron and his sons laid their hand on the ram's head, and Moses slaughtered it. Then apply then oh then Moses took some of its blood, applied it to the lobe of Aaron's right ear with a thumb, and of his right hand, and the big toe of his right foot. Next, Aaron presented My mistake. Next, Moses presented Aaron's sons and applied some of the blood to the earlobes of the right ear, the thumbs of their right hands, and the big toes of their right feet. He splattered them with the rest of the blood against the sides of the altar. Excuse me. Next, Moses took the fat, including the fat of the broad tail, and the fat around the internal organs, and the long lobe of the liver, and the two kidneys, and the fat around them, along with the right thigh. On top of these, he placed thin cakes of bread mixed with yeast, a cake of bread mixed with olive oil, and a waffler separated with olive oil. All these were taken from the basket of bread made without yeast, that placed in the Lord's presence. And he put all these in the hands of Aaron and his sons, and he lifted these gifts as a special offering to the Lord. Moses then took all the offerings back from them and burnt them on the altar on top of the burnt offerings. This was an ordination offering. Ordination? There was a pleasing aroma and a special gift presented to the Lord. Then Moses took the breast of the and lifted the special offering to the Lord. This this was Moses' portion of the ram for the ordination, and just as the Lord had commanded him. Next, Moses took some of the anointing oil and some of the blood of the that was on the altar, and he sprinkled them on Aaron and the garments, and his sons and their garments. In this way, he made Aaron and his sons and their garments holy. Then Moses said to Aaron and his sons, "Boil the remaining meat in the offerings at the tabernacle's entrance, and eat it there, along with the bread and its in the basket of offerings for the ordination, just as I commanded. And when I said, Aaron and his sons will eat it. Any meat or bread that is left over must be burnt up. You must not leave the tabernacle's entrance for 7 days, for that is when the ordination ceremony will be completed. Everything we have done today was commanded by the Lord in order to purify you, making you right with Him. Just stay in the entrance of the tabernacle day and night 7 days, and do everything the Lord requires. If you fail to do this, you will die, for this is what the Lord has commanded." So Aaron and his sons did everything the Lord had commanded through Moses. Oh, whoa. After the ordination ceremony on the 8th day, Moses called together Aaron and his sons and the elders of Israel. He said to Aaron, "Take a young bull for your sin offering and the ram of your burnt offering, both without defects, and present it to the Lord. Then tell the Israelites, take a male goat for your sin offerings, and take a calf and a lamb, both a year old and without defects, for a burnt offering. Also take a bull and ram for a peace offering, and flour moist in olive oil for a grain offering. Present all these offerings to the Lord, because the Lord had appeared to you today." So the people presented all these things at the entrance of the tabernacle, just as Moses had commanded. Then the whole community came forward and stood before the Lord. And Moses said, this is what the Lord had commanded you to do, so that the glory of the Lord may appear to you." Then Moses said to Aaron, "Come to the altar and sacrifice your sin offering at the burnt offering to purify yourselves." And the people then presented the offerings of the people to purify them, making them right with the Lord, just as he had commanded. So Aaron went to the altar and slaughtered a calf as a sin offering for himself. His son brought him the blood, and he dipped his finger in it and put it on the horns of the altar. He poured it out on the rest of the blood on the base of the altar. Then he burnt on the altar the fat of the kidneys and the long lobe of liver of the sin offering, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. The meat and the hide were, however, was burnt outside of the camp. Next, Aaron slaughtered the animal for burnt offering. So his sons brought him the blood and splattered it against the side of the altar. Ooh. Then Aaron had handed him each piece of the burnt offering, including the head, and burned them on the altar. And he washed the internal organs and the legs, burnt them on the altar along with the rest of the burnt offering. Next, Aaron presented the offerings of the people. He slaughtered the people's goats and presented them as an offering for their sin, just as he has done for the first. With how the first done with the offering for his own sin. I think I read that wrong. Just that he had first done with the offering for his own sin. Okay, so I read that wrong. Then he presented the burnt offering and sacrificed it to prescribe way. He also presented the grain offering, burnt a handful of flour mixture on the altar, in addition to the regular burnt offering in the morning. Then Aaron slaughtered the bull and the ram and for the people's peace offering. His sons brought him the blood, and he splattered it against all the sides of the altar. Then he took the fat of the bull and ram, and the fat of the broad tail, and from all around the internal organs, along with their kidneys, and along the long lobes of the liver. He placed these fat portions on top of the breasts of the animals and burnt them on the altar. Aaron then lifted the breasts to the breasts and the right thighs as a special offering to the Lord, just as Moses had commanded. After that, Aaron raised his hand towards the people and blessed them. Then, after presenting the sin offerings and the burnt offerings and the peace offerings, he stepped down from the altar. Then Moses and Aaron went into the tenements, and when they came back out, they blessed the people again. And the glory of the Lord appeared to the whole community. A fire blazing from forth from the Lord, from the Lord's presence, and consumed it with a consumed burnt offering of the fat on the altar. When the people saw this, they shouted with joy and fell face down to the ground. Oh, interesting. Okay, so Aaron's sons Naba and Abiu put coals on the fire of their incense burners and sprinkle incense over them. In this way, they disobeyed the Lord by burning before him the the wrong kind of fire, different than when he had commanded. So the blaze froth the froth from the Lord's presence. They burnt up and they died before the Lord. They died there before the Lord. Oh, dang. Then Moses said to Aaron, "This is what the Lord meant when he said, 'I will display my holiness through those who come near me. I will display my glory before all the people.'" And Aaron was silent. Then Moses called for Mishael and Eseol, Aaron's cousins, the sons of Aaron's uncle Uziel. He said to them, "Come forth and carry away the bodies of your relatives from in front of the sanctuary to place them outside the camp." So they came forward and picked them up by their garments and carried them out of the camp, just as Moses had commanded. Then Moses said to Aaron and his sons, Israel and Ephraim, do not show grief by leaving your hair uncombed or by tearing your clothes. If you do, you will die, and the Lord's anger will strike the whole community of Israel. However, the rest of the Israelites or relatives may mourn because the Lord's fiery destruction of Nabil and Abil. But you must not leave the entrance of the tenements, or you will die, for you have been anointed with the Lord's anointing oil. So they did as Moses commanded. Then the Lord said to Aaron, "You and your descendants must never drink wine or any alcoholic drink before going into the tabernacle. If you do, you will die. This is a permanent law for you, and you must not and it must not be and it must be observed from generation to generation. You must you must del- you must be you must distinguish my mistake distinguish between what is sacred and what is common, between what is ceremonial unclean and what is clean. And you must teach the Israelites all the decrees that the Lord has given them through Moses. Then Moses said to Aaron and his remaining sons, Israel and Ithram, take what is left of the grain offering after a portion has been presented as a special gift to the Lord, and eat it beside the altar, making make sure it contains no yeast for the most holy. For the most holy, yeah. I keep reading ahead. I don't know why I do that. I need to calm down and read slowly, but my mind keeps reading ahead. You must eat a sacred You must eat in the sacred place, for it has been given to you for your descendants as a portion of the special gifts presented to the Lord. These are these are commands I have been given. But the breasts and thighs were lifted as a special offering that may be eaten in a place as a ceremonial clean. These parts have been given to you and your descendants as your portion of a peace offering presented by the people of Israel. You must lift up your thigh and breast as a special offering to the Lord, along with the fat and special gifts. These parts belong to you and your descendants as a permanent right, just as the Lord has commanded. Moses then asked them what they had happened to the goat of the sin offering. When he discovered that it was burnt up, he became very angry with Ezra and Imra, uh, Aaron's sons remaining uh, Aaron's remaining sons. While Why didn't you eat the sin offerings in the sacred area? He demanded. This is a holy offering. The Lord has given it to you to remove from to the guilt of the community and purify the people, making them right with the Lord. Since the animal's blood was not brought into the holy place, you should you should have eaten the meat in the sacred area as I order. Then Aaron answered Moses, "Today my sons presented both their sin offerings and their burnt offerings to the Lord. And yet this tragedy has happened to me. If I had eaten the people's sins offerings as it such on a such tragic day as this, would the Lord have been pleased?" And when Moses heard this, he was satisfied. That last part did not sound right when Moses said that. Yeah. So from what I just got this reading is after Moses was commanded to do all what he needed his people to do, Aaron's sons just died. Well, they did not follow the proper precautions from what it looks like, and it looks like many of them paid the price for what happened. Uh, I know it might seem messed up of what just happened according to the books, but I mean, God made it clear on how He wanted things. I can't really tell you too much because I'm not really an expert in the Bible. I've been re, I've just been reading this for the past actually it's been a month now. Actually, it's almost a month now since I've been reading this book. But from what I can tell you, something happened really bad, and the sons died because they messed up on something, and yeah, as you saw, Aaron pretty much was mourning for the loss, but he understood why this happened, and that's kind of what most of us need to understand, that there are going to be some good things and bad things that are going to happen in your life, and therefore reasons the Lord has for us. The reason is the Lord does these bad things to us, not as because He hates us, because He wants us to actually ensure us that we are actually following, or not following, but becoming stronger and getting better at some of the things that we do in our lifetime. And yes, it was a tragedy of his sons losing that, and it might not seem good that Moses was smiling or was satisfied with that answer. Eh, it's a more other people can tell you much more than I would. I could just tell you just from a first read of what's going on and some of the connections that I could make from here to there. But so far, pretty much everything right now is sort of explaining itself of what's going on and the sort of commands that God's giving the people. Like God's giving them specific commands for each type of offering, from the sin offering, burnt offering, grain offering, all these offerings. Basically specified every single little thing, but mistakes happen. People do things wrong, or something happens, and things happen. But hopefully, hopefully in the next chapter, Aaron at least sees that he is going to become stronger in all of this, because the Lord does know more about us than we know about ourselves. And that's something that we all have to live with. That we will never know what we truly want in life, but only the Lord does. But other than that, I'm probably going to leave this here for today. And I'll see you all in the next one. See you guys.